Okay, so one good thing. I am really grateful to have people in my life that are not only supportive of me, but to have friends that are supportive of my husband. So when I was engaged, we were engaged during COVID, so not a lot of people got to meet my husband or spend much time with him, but there were some people that did get to spend time with him, and they just weren't fond of him. They were like, no. And I was like, okay, well, one, we don't know them, so let's consider that. Two, my family and the people that are closest to me are supportive of our union, and that is something I find valuable. So fast forward, there were some things that were not kind that were said, like, oh, if things don't work out between you two, don't be surprised if your friends tell you I told you so. And I spoke up to them and I was like, you know what? One, that's really mean. Two, those are not my friends. Like, my friends are people that if they knew I was having a hard time in my marriage, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. How can I help? Or, like, yeah, I just think they would have more of that posture. So fast forward, we did marriage counseling with some of our really good friends. And along the way, they just kept reminding us, like, just remember you're on the same team. When you have hard times, just like, remember that your battle isn't against each other, even if you don't see eye to eye with whatever the issue is. And I was like, yeah, super helpful mindset in multiple situations. And then being reminded, like, remember, why you wanted to date them. Remember why you wanted to marry him. Just don't forget those special moments and thoughts. So all good advice. Then we come out here. So we've been in Washington less than 2 years, but I broke my toe and can be more of a stoic responder. And so I kept saying, like, oh, I'm fine, And so people were just thinking, like, oh, she says she's fine, so she is fine. Like, cool, let's just have a great rest of our lake day, And I had my toe in the water, and the water was cool. And so my toe was swollen. I did have a change in sensation. But I was just calculating, like, okay, I know right now I still feel like I'm fine, but at some point I do need to go to the urgent care. So I just, like, looked up on my phone, like, when the urgent care closed. I called them to see if they had, x-ray capabilities. And then, got the x-ray, found out my toe was fractured and displaced and that I need to have surgery. And so then, my husband, like, he was just going off of my cues of, like, oh, she keeps saying she's fine, so she's fine. Here's a funny video. Let's laugh together. And I'm like, I'm not in a place where I want to be laughing right now. I'm really uncomfortable. And so he's like, oh, wow, like, I can't tell. And I'm like, yeah, But I think it's been helpful to learn how we respond, to stress, that we respond in different ways. But I think something that's really helpful is, so I was supposed to go to this fantasy festival that I went to with my friend last year, and two of my friends are going this year. And they called me on their way there, and they're like, we're not calling, so that you can feel bad about missing out, but we're calling because we miss you and just, wanted to say hi and, and just call you on our way out there. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks. And so they're like, and, they gave perspective about, they're like, yeah, I can relate to David, or I can relate to your husband and his response. Cause, like, yeah, when I'm around sweet people, I can also just believe what they say and just be like, oh, okay, I guess you're fine, So it's harder to, like, be responsive because it doesn't seem like there's anything to respond to. And I'm like, that's fair. But it just made me realize, like, I could have moved here and I could have connected with people potentially that maybe weren't as receptive to David or I. And I think them, like, low-key defending him, like, okay, just, because I was saying, like, guys, please keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, because I don't want to be unkind or impatient with my husband. Like, he's the one that is the closest to me and helping me the most. But like, sometimes I just get annoyed, you know, if he is unaware or not mindful, you know. And so I think they were just so, I just really appreciated them saying like, hey, just in your effort to be kind, in your effort to be patient, like, I can relate to his thinking, and this is how I would think about something, or this is how I would respond, you know, if I was in his situation. And it meant a lot to me, because it just made me think of this, you know, previous friend who made the comment about like, oh yeah, don't be surprised if your friends, you know, if you have a hard time, they're like, told you so, I knew it wasn't going to work out. And I'm like, ew. So I'm like, I'm just really grateful to have people in my life who don't just show up for me, but also like show up and speak up for my husband too. Yeah, like that just means a lot to me. And yeah. And my husband's like super sweet guy. He really is. He's super sweet, very kind, would never intentionally try to hurt me, which I really appreciate. But sometimes he's not the most mindful, you know, and he gets excited and sometimes just doesn't think through like things just in the same way that I think through them, and why would he? But it's just helpful to like have people in our corner that are, yeah, like not prone to just taking sides, because like, oh, well, I'm friends with Danielle, like I'm closer to Danielle, so I'm going to take Danielle's side, or, you know, like, I just appreciate that we have friends that are mature. So yeah, that's my one good thing today, is just reflecting on that gift, because it is a gift. And I don't know if I'm going to record it well, but as I'm scooting on the deck, but yeah, this is another thing. Can you see it? Yeah. So yeah, I think they're poppies, because I planted some poppies from seed. But I'm gonna go with poppies, final answer. But the thing I also appreciate about them is they close up in the evening, like tulips, and they open up, you know. And so I just think them opening up has just been really cheerful, and them being yellow is really fun. And I planted them in the front yard too, and they didn't come up at all. So having these come up from seed in the planter is just really uplifting. All right, hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye.